A Zen master was once asked, "What happens after we die?" He replied, "I don't know." "You don't know? You are a famous Zen master. How can you not know?" He smiled and said, "Yes, but not a dead one." Ajahn Chah, one of my teachers, said that for someone who has never contemplated death, life is very confusing. We see that in today's world as well. There is a lot of anxiety and dread. As we create some space to contemplate the only certainty there is, death, we begin to value each day as precious and each meeting as a holy encounter. One way to know the maturity of our spiritual practice is by how taken aback or shocked we are when we hear that someone has passed on. Go through a newspaper, death is all around. And yet, when someone we know dies, there can be a sense of disbelief. Yet, this is the way it is. The Buddha encourages us to reflect on these 5 things every day. I am subject to old age. I am subject to disease. I am subject to death. All that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise. I am heir to my actions and intentions. This way of thinking is grounding and reminds us to not take anything for granted. It was a significant learning for me to realize that we don't lose anyone. We return them. This is because losing implies that we own them. Returning is based on the reality that all meetings end in partings. Everything and everyone is borrowed, including the elements in our body, only to be returned in due course. Some of us imagine that we will die 20, 30, or 40 years from now. But what if we knew that we were going to die 6 months from now? What if we knew that we just had 6 weeks or 6 days? What about today? What would happen? Something would definitely shift. We would not take things for granted in the same way. There would be a radical shift in the way we perceive our own body. This is because death contemplation is also a kind of life contemplation. Life and death are inextricably connected. The last words spoken by the Buddha were, Vaidhamma sankhara appamadena sampadetha. All conditioned states are subject to decay. Be diligent in your practice. This teaching encourages us to understand impermanence, which is the main realization that cuts through the fear of death. In a universe where everything is changing, change itself is the only constant, and therefore the most reliable refuge. This is the opposite of what one would expect. The more completely one embraces death, the more peace arises, the more vibrant life becomes. Try this now with me. Assume you will die in the next minute. Notice what this does to how alert you are and how vividly you experience everything. When I do this, I notice all sensory experiences are heightened. Time seems to stand still, and I'm no longer as bound or limited by the body and mind. When we practice in this way, we may sometimes judge ourselves and feel we are not striving enough. However, I have met many meditators, many who are committed to living with awareness, and they share similar things. If they have a near-death experience, in that moment, looking into the face of death, their being is very serene. This reassures them that their self-judgments are not always valid. The mind is a poor evaluator of our progress. When we assume nothing is happening, that is usually when we are growing the most. Unknown to us, the roots of our practice are finding their way deep into our being and transforming it in ways we may not fathom.